The case of John Wayne Gacy shocked the world. But what if there were things we still didn't know? What mysteries remain hidden? And how do his crimes continue to shape our view of justice and evil? As we look back at the chilling legacy of John Wayne Gacy, his story has led to more questions than answers. Though his crimes were exposed to the public, and justice was served through his conviction and execution, many still wonder whether we know the full truth. This chapter explores the lingering mysteries surrounding Gacy, the possibility of other undiscovered victims, and how his case continues to affect the criminal justice system, forensic science, and our understanding of serial murder. Despite the fact that John Wayne Gacy was convicted of 33 murders, many experts, law enforcement officers, and true crime enthusiasts believe that there could be more to the story. Gacy himself always maintained his innocence in many of the cases, suggesting that he may have been part of a much larger operation. Though there has been no concrete evidence to support that claim, some investigators speculate that Gacy could have been part of a network of serial killers who operated in secret, using his position in society to help cover their tracks. Was Gacy working alone, or were there other killers in the background, facilitating his crimes? As Gacy's case continues to be examined, new theories and possibilities emerge, though none can be definitively proven. In addition, there are many victims of Gacy who remain unidentified. The discovery of the bodies in the crawl space of his home left police with the heartbreaking task of identifying each victim, but not all have been conclusively identified. While advances in forensic technology have helped identify some victims, others remain nameless to this day, leaving families with no answers and adding a haunting layer to the mystery of Gacy's legacy. Could there be other victims whose identities remain a mystery? While the majority of Gacy's victims have been identified, the possibility remains that others were lost to time. As DNA analysis and forensic techniques advance, could more victims from Gacy's reign of terror still be discovered? And what other secrets could be buried in the remains of his crimes that have yet to be uncovered? John Wayne Gacy's case has captivated the public for decades, not only because of the horrific nature of his crimes, but also because of his ability to hide in plain sight. Gacy wasn't the typical serial killer. He was a respected businessman, a community member, and even a volunteer at local events. This duality, being both a clown and a killer, continues to haunt the public imagination. What makes Gacy's case particularly chilling is how he manipulated the public's perception of him. For many years, he was able to maintain his normal, friendly image while concealing the monstrous crimes he was committing behind closed doors. His ability to deceive and manipulate those around him has left people questioning how many other killers might be hiding in plain sight today. The ongoing fascination with Gacy's case also stems from the many unanswered questions about his life and crimes. As we look deeper into his psychological profile, we can't help but ask, what made him do it? Was he born a monster, or did life experiences drive him to commit such heinous acts? And perhaps most troubling, how many more people like Gacy are out there, hiding in the shadows, waiting to strike? While John Wayne Gacy's conviction and execution marked the end of his direct impact, the mysteries surrounding his crimes linger on. What secrets have yet to be uncovered? Are there still unidentified victims waiting to be recognized? And, more chillingly, could Gacy's case be just one example of a much larger pattern of hidden serial killers? As Gacy's legacy continues to haunt the criminal justice system and forensic investigations, the question remains, how much do we still not know about the world of serial killers and the darkness they hide? As we reach the final chapter of this chilling series, we ask, what has John Wayne Gacy's case truly taught us? How have the lessons learned from his crimes reshaped the way we investigate serial killers? And what can we do to prevent future tragedies? John Wayne Gacy's story is not just one of horror and tragedy, but also a tale of evolution within the criminal justice system. As one of the most infamous serial killers in modern history, his case has forced law enforcement, forensic scientists, and psychologists to reconsider how they approach violent crime and the investigation of serial murders. In this final chapter, we will reflect on the lessons learned from Gacy's horrific crimes, the lasting changes in investigative practices, and what the future holds for preventing similar atrocities. Gacy's case, while horrifying, became a turning point for how law enforcement tracks and investigates serial killers. Before Gacy, law enforcement agencies had not fully integrated behavioral profiling into criminal investigations. His ability to hide in plain sight as a well-liked businessman and community member exposed the vulnerabilities in how society and the police approach suspected criminals. Gacy's case made it clear that serial killers are often masters of deception, and investigators need more than just physical evidence to track them down. They need psychological insight into the minds of the perpetrators. The FBI's Behavioral Science Unit, which had already been working on developing psychological profiles for serial killers, found Gacy's case to be a valuable teaching tool. Gacy's victimology, the way he lured his victims, and the methods he used to evade detection helped experts refine their profiling techniques. His case demonstrated that the typical violent killer stereotype was not always accurate. Gacy was able to blend in with the community, even earning the trust of law enforcement officers, which made his detection so much harder. This case helped shape the development of modern criminal investigative techniques, from more sophisticated forensic technology to the widespread use of behavioral profiling to identify patterns of serial crime. Gacy's ability to operate undetected for so long was a wake-up call for law enforcement, pushing them to adopt a more comprehensive approach to serial crime investigations. Can modern techniques fully prevent another Gacy? While Gacy's case did lead to significant advancements in forensic science, profiling, and investigative methods, the question remains, are we truly equipped to prevent another person like him from hiding in plain sight for years? Can modern techniques keep up with the evolving ways killers might operate, or are we still vulnerable to missing the warning signs? Gacy's case continues to captivate the public, not only because of the grisly nature of his crimes, but because of the layers of deception that made him such a unique and terrifying figure. For decades, the public has struggled to understand how someone so seemingly normal could commit such horrific acts. This fascination is rooted in the desire to understand the complexities of human nature and the psychology behind serial killers. The duality of Gacy's persona, charming, community-oriented businessman by day and brutal killer by night, represents a terrifying possibility that evil can look and behave like anyone. His case remains a reminder that danger can lurk behind the masks we wear in society, and that people who seem trustworthy or even beloved can sometimes be hiding the darkest secrets. The public's interest in Gacy's case is also fueled by the broader conversation about evil and morality. How much of Gacy's actions were a product of his environment, his psychology, or his past? Can we ever truly understand why people commit such monstrous crimes, or are there some evil acts that will always remain inexplicable? As we reflect on John Wayne Gacy's case, we realize that his story is far from over. The lessons learned from his horrifying crimes continue to resonate in criminal justice practices, forensic psychology, and our cultural understanding of evil. But are we doing enough to stop future killers from slipping through the cracks? How much more is there to learn from the legacy of John Wayne Gacy, and how do we protect ourselves from the monsters hiding in plain sight? Stay tuned for our upcoming discussion on the future of criminal investigations, the evolving field of forensic science, and the role of victims' families in shaping the criminal justice system. John Wayne Gacy may have been one of the most notorious killers in history, but his legacy teaches us that we must continue to evolve and stay vigilant to prevent future tragedies. John Wayne Gacy's name is synonymous with evil, but his case left a legacy that continues to impact our understanding of human behavior, the criminal justice system, and the pursuit of justice. In this final chapter, we ask, how do we confront the darkness he exposed, and what can we do to ensure his legacy isn't just a story of terror, but a catalyst for change? The story of John Wayne Gacy is one of the most horrifying true crime tales ever told, but it also represents something much larger. His crimes didn't just expose the evil lurking in the shadows, they forced us to look at the systems that allowed him to thrive. The criminal justice system, forensic science, victim advocacy, and the public's understanding of serial crime all had to evolve in the wake of Gacy's terror. This chapter explores how we confront the darkness that Gacy exposed, how his case shaped critical reform, and how society can continue to learn from his story. One of the most unsettling aspects of John Wayne Gacy's case is how he was able to live under the radar for so long. He was a community leader, a trusted businessman, and even a volunteer who hosted charity events. His transformation from Pogo the Clown to one of America's most infamous serial killers was a stark reminder of how evil can hide in plain sight. This duality has sparked deeper conversations about the psychology of serial killers and how much we really know about the forces that drive people to commit such heinous crimes. In the years since Gacy's execution, experts have delved deeper into his background, seeking to understand what made him a killer. While psychological theories have been offered, there is no clear-cut answer. Was Gacy born a monster, or did his upbringing and experiences shape his dark path? And more chillingly, could there be others like him, hiding their true nature from the world? Gacy's case pushed forensic science forward in ways that are still felt today. From improved victim identification methods to advances in DNA analysis and criminal profiling, his case highlighted the need for continuous improvements in the way we investigate violent crimes. It also led to more emphasis on understanding the psychological profiles of serial offenders, helping to refine techniques used by law enforcement agencies around the world. But perhaps one of the most lasting impacts of Gacy's case is on victim advocacy. The grief and trauma experienced by the families of Gacy's victims have been a driving force in the effort to ensure that no family is left without justice. The stories of Gacy's victims, many of whom had been missing for years, continue to push for better communication between law enforcement agencies, more thorough investigations, and greater support for the families of the missing. Can we truly prevent another Gacy from hiding in plain sight? Though there have been significant advancements in forensic science and criminal investigations since Gacy's crimes, the question remains: can we ever be fully prepared for a killer like Gacy? What more needs to be done to ensure that future offenders don't fall through the cracks? And are there more killers hiding in plain sight, manipulating their way into communities, just like Gacy did? Gacy's story is one that continues to haunt people, not just because of the gruesome nature of his crimes, but because it challenges our understanding of good and evil. How could someone who seemed so ordinary, even charitable, commit such monstrous acts? The fact that Gacy was able to maintain this facade for years only adds to the public's obsession with his case. But Gacy's crimes have also sparked a deeper examination of the nature of serial killers. The psychology of Gacy has been dissected by experts trying to understand what motivated him to commit such horrific acts. Was it something inherent in him, or was it a series of life events that twisted him into the man he became? As Gacy's story continues to resonate, the public fascination remains tied to a darker truth. Serial killers like him don't always look like monsters. Sometimes, they look just like us. The more we learn about Gacy's crimes, the more we understand how dangerous it is to ignore the warning signs of a predator in our midst. His case has led to a larger conversation about how serial killers operate, and how we can improve our ability to detect them before it's too late. Despite the terror he unleashed, Gacy's legacy has spurred reforms and discussions about the dark undercurrents of society, making sure we never forget the lessons his case has taught us. Though Gacy is long gone, the questions surrounding his life and crimes are far from over. Was he truly the only one? Could his case have been handled differently, preventing more victims from suffering? And most importantly, how can we use his story to prevent future monsters from emerging? Gacy's crimes left scars that will never fully heal. His story is a stark reminder of the darkness that can hide behind a smile, a mask, or a well-worn clown costume. As we continue to search for answers, the legacy of John Wayne Gacy will endure not just as a cautionary tale, but as a call to action. After all the horrors, after all the uncovering of truth, we ask, what are the lasting effects of John Wayne Gacy's crimes? How do we ensure that history doesn't repeat itself, and that the lessons we've learned endure? John Wayne Gacy's terrifying legacy has permeated every aspect of the criminal justice system. His case has reshaped our understanding of serial killers, public safety, and forensic investigation, leaving questions that extend far beyond the end of his trial. In this final chapter, we reflect on how Gacy's case continues to influence the world we live in today, how it has sparked legal reforms, shaped forensic science, and left a lasting impact on how we perceive and investigate monstrous crimes. We also explore the human toll of Gacy's actions, the families of his victims, the survivors, and how society continues to deal with the aftermath of such a tragedy. What did Gacy's case teach us about the systems that failed to detect his evil? And how can we ensure that future generations learn from his dark legacy? John Wayne Gacy's case has undoubtedly shaped law enforcement, forensic investigations, and criminal profiling. As one of the most notorious serial killers in history, his crimes forced the criminal justice system to evolve in ways that are still being felt today. One of the key lessons learned was the importance of criminal profiling and behavioral analysis in identifying serial killers. Gacy's ability to operate in plain sight within his community made investigators realize that perpetrators could be hiding behind normal facades. This awareness led to major advancements in criminal profiling, where law enforcement began to focus not just on the crime itself, but on the behavior, psychology, and motivations of the criminal. This shift in investigative strategy has since been adopted in countless cases, from notorious serial killers like Ted Bundy to the more recent cases of modern-day criminals. The emergence of advanced forensic technologies, such as DNA testing and digital evidence collection, part of its growth to cases like Gacy's. While Gacy's crimes were solved largely through traditional police work and confessions, the increased focus on forensic evidence has made it easier to investigate similar cases today. For example, the ongoing ability to match DNA samples from cold cases to modern databases has led to the identification of previously unknown victims, providing closure to families who otherwise might never have received justice. Can we ever truly prevent another serial killer like Gacy from hiding in plain sight? Although many systems have been put in place to detect potential serial killers earlier, Gacy's case reminds us that there are always gaps in any system. Can we ever fully prepare to spot a hidden predator who blends in with society? What more can we do to ensure that the next John Wayne Gacy is found before it's too late? The fascination with Gacy doesn't just lie in the brutality of his crimes, but in the unsettling realization that monsters like him are often hiding where we least expect it. He wasn't the typical image of a killer, isolated, disturbed, and malicious. Instead, he was a businessman, a well-liked member of his community, and even a volunteer at children's events. His case has become a chilling reminder that serial killers can be anyone. This duality, public trust and private horror, is what continues to draw people in. The ongoing public fascination is also tied to the unanswered questions surrounding Gacy's crimes. What drove him to kill? Was it the mask of Pogo the Clown that allowed him to mask his true identity and continue his killing spree? Or was there something more sinister at play? These psychological questions keep Gacy's case alive in the minds of those studying criminal behavior. His case is a powerful reminder that while we may never fully understand the mind of a killer like Gacy, we must continue to push the boundaries of forensic science and criminal psychology in order to prevent future crimes. Though John Wayne Gacy is gone, his story will never be fully resolved. The lasting impact of his crimes continues to affect how we investigate and prevent serial murders. But as we look ahead, the question remains: how much more do we still not know about the darkness that lies within human nature? The fight to uncover the truth behind serial killers is an ongoing struggle. How many more cases are still unsolved, waiting for breakthroughs in forensic science? And how do we ensure that the next generation of investigators is better equipped to handle the complexities of human evil? In the next chapter, we'll take a look at modern-day serial crime prevention and how the lessons from Gacy's case are being applied today? Are we finally learning enough to stop the next killer before they strike? Subscribe, like, share, and leave your review in the comment section below.